plus de 20 ans, les villes et les campagnes pour éduquer, informer et sensibiliser les populations aux enjeux du développement durable.
Well, the president, José Campagne, sociologist and expert international, he is trying to show to us that we have to go in campaign. We have to go to the indigenous population to bring to them new way, new method through the play, through theater, to instruct them how to preserve environment. And then supporting theater, supporting play is a way to communicate. And then our dimension are in two sectors. We are going to teach this population, and this population is getting a new habit, how to live in environment. Thank you to the Environmental Ministry. Thanks to the Fund for Environment and the World Bank. Thanks to the experts. Thanks to PFTA, all experts, and Mrs. Coordinator of PFTA, and to all experts who are beside us, to all who are paying attention to our association. Thank you because you trust us, and thank you to all collaborators. We are people who like to go on field. We are people who like to work on field because this is to improve our environment using. Thanks to you. Thanks since 2013. We still giving you thank you. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup pour tous les financements que nous avons bénéficiés à vos côtés depuis 2015. Et nous voulons continuer à travailler avec vous. Nous sommes fiers de travailler avec vous. La République du Congo est une terre de contrastes où se dessine une multitude de paysages.
As a matter of fact, we can watch the length, the deepest, the largest, and the biggest of our forests, which is really considerable, and this nature which contain the life of population, even the world, and then all the menace in the environment have to bring a conscience active in order to stop this, not to destroy this environment which is containing our life, not only us but the life of the world.
Le président de l'Association pour la culture de protection de la faune et de la flore, José Campagne, et ses collaborateurs ont utilisé le théâtre et la projection des films comme un outil efficace pour atteindre efficacement leur objectif, comme en témoignent les populations.
Now we are going to watch a different interview among students who was excited and who was delighted by this theater, which taught to them many things about to not cutting trees, how to preserve the nature, how to preserve animals, and how to live in the forest. As we can watch, this student is explaining. And what we can focalize is that this population is really insisting that this play come back to them, to exhibit them again, display, so that they could be impact in this true action and education. And they still explaining in different interviews. So we can see that this play has not to take place just one time, but different period in a year. This play have to go and take place to play and to teach to the population through this system of a theater, because the theater is a simple way. Then we can watch now the indigenous people explaining how they was impacted, how they were delighted by the exhibition of this play and the instruction which was brought to them, how to stop destroying the nature and how to preserve the nature and the ecosystems. This is the message that this population caught from the theater. We see how they are delighted, and then we can see also the president is active on live in the play to this population. So they're thanking the team to be there, and they want them to go again, to play again and again, many times, not only one time, because this brings an impact. For example, this one is explaining how it has an impact, although the COVID is not matter, but this play brings something. Well, we can see Chief of Village in Gombe, he's explaining, he's happy, and he insists on that this team go again to present to them the play so that they could be instructed about the conservation of nature, of the environment and the forest. And we will watch again. He's explaining, he's expressing the impact what this play brought to them, what the way the forest is destroyed and how the animals are disappearing in the forest. All this is complaining, and he show how this theater display bring to them a new instruction to stop not to kill animals. That is the impact of the mission of this association. So we focalize that this association have to go again and again.
L'Association pour la culture de protection de la faune et de la flore.
As a matter of fact, the association accompany the government of the Republic of Congo in the sustainable management of the forest through the play through the indigenous population by instruction how to preserve the biodiversity of Congo.
En République du Congo.
La République du Congo.
Meso Jose Colin Kanye is presenting different goal which is bringing them to the different departments and villages to instruct this population, this indigenous population, through the play. That is why we have one of the participants of is not autochthone, is indigenous, and he tried to present his appreciation, his reaction. All these following are autochthone, are indigenous participants, which are bringing their reaction. They are telling their reaction after watching the play. After watching the theater, they appreciate much and they want this play to come again because they have a good instruction. Then now we have a president of indigenous population in Pikunda. He is telling about the appreciation, his reaction. He wants the team to go again. He wants the play to go again, to play again so that they could be instructed more and more about the preservation of environment and the forest. And then we have a representative of indigenous people in Pikunda is talking in the same way about the preservation through the play which has presented his exhibit by Mr. Colin and his association, as well as his collaborator. We can see the way the representative of indigenous people is explaining. As well, we can watch the director of the department. He is presenting his point of view. Mr. Inlasanga, the director of department of the indigenous population, he appreciates much. He's explaining what impact this play brought to his population. And he said that before the arrival of this team, the activity was not clear. But after the arrival of this team, now the activities are clear. The population understand well how to preserve the environment, how to stop to not killing animals. And he wants so that this team go again and again. He insists, he focalize on that, the arrival of this team, not to be only one time. Okay, we are now in front of the representative, the major of Jandam in Lasanga. He is explaining, he's taking a speech and explaining what impact this team brought through the play to this population indigenous.
La vie n'est rien d'autre que l'expression.
We are now in front of a sub-prefect of Toku, Mr. Alphonse Sabe, who's bringing his point of view and is focalizing about the impact of this theater, the impact of this play. He appreciates much the instruction which was brought to the population, and he tried to enter into detail how the population is destroying the environment, as well as he gave an example of COVID-19. He said that COVID-19 is brought by man. Then this example tried to bring our conscience to the real way we have to protect, to preserve the environment, and that is why the mission of this association is important, and our sub-prefect is underlining this matter by saying that he is delighted and he appreciates with all the collaborators of his department to preserve well the instruction run by our association, and that is why he wants so that this association go again this association make more, do more than what they have done this time. And he thanks so much. He said that God created all well, but it's just a man who come and destroy. Man come and bring his destruction. Exactly what he is explaining by his appreciation. But he insisted his appreciation is rely to the instruction which was brought by display by the association for the theater of Mr. Jose Colin. That is why we have just to support this association in its action, to support this association to go further on by its contribution. That is why we see the testimony of the sub-prefect, which is supporting the action of the association by Mr. Alphonse Sabe, sub-prefect of Toko.
Tout ce qui va se passer avec les cadres qui sont ici, des eaux et forêts, la main de la main, on va tout faire pour sauver l'écosystème.
The chief of sector national park in Toko Pikunda, Mr. Ebo Mbaki, is bringing his point of view, he's bringing his reaction, he's bringing his appreciation by insisting that for getting the product from forests, they have to preserve the environment, they have to preserve the forest. And even if, although some difficulties, some matter what we can stop them, but they have to preserve the environment. But all this is through the play, through the theater, which is brought to them by the association of Mr. Colin Ozzy. And this is going to help to them to preserve the environment. We can see, we come back again on the same play with the actor, Mr. Jose Colin, and the collaborator. They are teaching through the play to the indigenous population how to preserve. They understand, yes, they understand the message through the play. That is why they clap. And we see the impact of the play. We see the impact of a play because it brings a message and the population catch easily the message. And we see why this team have not to go only one time in the year, but to go again and again to bring to them, to motivate them, to awake them in the preservation of environment matter.
Et parce qu'il y a les animaux aussi. Si vous coupez toute cette forêt, si vous détruisez les animaux, le village ne pourra plus jamais bénéficier des financements. Merci.
Well, as a matter of fact, we are in front of the sub-prefect who is bringing his point of view. He appreciates the way our association show its play, and he focalized that just the speech are weak than the activity of a play of our association come to awake the population, the indigenous population, to understand well how to preserve environment and how to preserve the forests. Second, we have also then he's bring also his point of view. He appreciate much as well as he say he got instruction how to protect and preserve the environment. While we can see now Mr. Jose Colin in the forest, coming from the forest with a product of forest. Among this is the product of forest through the indigenous population. We see the impact of the team, of the association, because the association teach them how to preserve. Without preserving the environment, they could not bring that product from the forest. It's by preserving environment and forest that they could go and take some product from the forest. They are again on live. We can see the actor teaching the same message, and they insist on the same word, the same topic: how to preserve environment, how to preserve forest, how to preserve biodiversity through the play. Because as the sub-chief of prefect insists that the simple speech has not an impact, but it has more impact. Activity of a play through the association come to awake the indigenous population to preserve environment and forest. So we can say that flora and fauna are going to be preserved well through the instruction of our association. So it deserves that we support our association to be in activity all along the year, to go from time to time.
Madame et Messieurs les présentateurs de ce théâtre, la joie.
Well, we see now our sub-prefect of Pikunda, Mr. Abraham Esaka, is talking, is appreciating after watching the play, is bringing his point of view. He insists on the same object. He say that is bringing as example a pandemic, COVID-19, that is the population have to protect. And then he say, if there are not many people, many indigenous, it's because of COVID-19. But although they had some of indigenous population who took place to this play, and he thanks the coming of this association, because he insists that the association taught them how now to preserve environment to the indigenous population. And we can see now Mr. Jose, this was to sub-prefect of Pikunda, Mr. Abraham Esaka, was bringing his point of view. He's really delighted by the message. We can see indigenous population.
Et même dans les couloirs, de continuer à diffuser le message que vous venez de diffuser maintenant, pour qu'il pénètre dans nos esprits, dans nos cœurs. Je vous remercie et bon séjour chez nous.